Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Let me get back to the top of my outline. Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
And this is our Banzuke prediction for the Kyushu Basho that will be coming up in just a few weeks.
But before we start that, we have an investigation that's been going on. It turns out that one of the people on our podcast is actually an owl.
Who?
Son of a bitch.
I mean, sorry.
God, I'm so funny.
We're both funny.
It's mostly
Takes
me, though.
two to tango.
Yeah. It's mostly me, though.
Yeah, that's fair. Before we get into the Banzuke prediction, we kind of overlooked something on our recap episode for Aki.
No, we didn't overlook it. We intentionally made the decision to do things differently this time.
Yes, we'll move advertising our fantasy contest to the episode that gets a little fewer downloads than our recap episodes, which are one of our most downloaded episodes.
No, we should definitely go for the exclusive crowd.
Yeah, there we go. If you're listening to the Banzuke predictions, you're the hardcore GSB fans, and that's who we want to join us on fantasy.
Hi, Katie.
Also, we don't have
She's
doors.
just one of the only ones that listens to every single episode.
Yeah, but we also don't have doors in Jake's house for this recording, so there might be some extra sounds that get through that normally a closed door would shut her off.
Yeah, normally I like to isolate us from that awful, wife and dogs and cats and stuff that I bear, in my normal life, but this podcast room is normally my only safe haven.
Not today.
Not today.
But
see, if I had a closed door, I wouldn't have to worry about that face that she's making at me from the hallway.
Oh, yeah, she is just right over there staring at us. That's disconcerting.
I don't like that at all. Let's get to it.
Well, we still haven't actually announced what the fantasy contest is.
That's what it was that I want to get to, obviously.
Gotcha.
Surprised you couldn't keep up with that.
So the fantasy contest for the Kyushu Basho is going to be give us what you think Rikishi are wearing for Halloween costumes. Like Takakesho would probably be dressing up as a bowling ball.
That would be a real easy one for him. He would not have to put in a ton of effort.
Not at all. So yeah, that we will get that posted on Twitter later tonight once this episode is out. And yeah, just send us your... I don't know why it's so hard for me to get the words out.
You lost it. You lost it. It's gone.
Send us your responses. That's the word I was looking for. And as always, we will comb through those and deliberate for hours and hours to determine who will join us for Fantasy Sumo for the Kyushu Basho.
It's the doors, isn't it? It's just throwing you off your game.
It really is the doors. Katie just staring at us the whole time. It's just really making me self-conscious.
It's been a while since she blinked.
Yeah, very, like I said before, disconcerting. But we're going to power through into the Banzuke prediction. So at Yokozuna, we are going to have Kakuryu, followed by Hakuho on the west side.
Only because Kakuryu got a couple wins, right?
He had 4 wins to Hakuho's no wins. So
that is better.
Whichever Yokozuna does best gets the distinction of being the East. On the Ozeki rank, we have Goeido is going to be your top rank Ozeki. We have
with 3 wins.
No, that was last time. You're looking at that wrong.
Yeah, no, I got I got 2 Bashos worth of data in front of me, and I'm looking at the wrong one.
Yeah. No, he had 10 wins this time, which was better than both other Ozeki combined, I believe.
Yeah, looks like Takayasu got a big fat 0 wins.
Yeah, so that really helps with the...
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, but Takayasu will be your second-ranked Ozeki. He will be Ozeki West 1, and Takakesho will rejoin the Ozeki ranks after spending 1 Basho down as Sekiwake. This will be his 3rd Basho as Ozeki. Hopefully he can manage... Well, actually, no. Hopefully he sits out this one and rests.
Yeah,
and
with
then
that
comes
arm
back
injury that's developing
in 2020 and demolishes the Ozeki rank.
And no matter what, he'll be the last one just because he's the new one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Technically, he's lowest on the totem pole.
The newly promoted Ozeki are always the lowest ranked Ozeki. So at Sekiwake, we are going to have Mitakayumi standing pat as the top-ranked Sekiwake. And on the west side, we are going to have Tochinoshin, who is a demoted Ozeki. And much like promoted Ozeki, demoted Ozeki are always the lowest-ranked Sekiwake. Besides, Mitakayumi won the Yusho, so why would they move him at all?
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is where we're going to run into our first issue where Abi and Endo at Komusubi can't move up to that slot because it's getting filled by Tochinoshin. And did you do any research like is there precedent for that? Is it normally guys can get kept from getting bumped up?
Yeah, so if you look at Mitake Yumi from the Haru to Natsu Basho in 2017, we actually had 3 Sekiwake at that time because we had Koto Shogiku had dropped down from the Ozeki rank, and that's when he got his 9-6 record. But so we had 3 Sekiwake, and all of them ended up with a winning record. Mitake Yumi ended up with a 9-6 record as the East Komusubi in Haru, and he remained as the East Komusubi for Natsu because there was no room for him to jump up. And as I was doing research from that, I actually came across a fun little fact. Just 2 years ago in Haru 2017, we had a very different scene in the Upper Maegashira ranks, or the Zone of Death. At Maegashira 1, we had Takekaze, who is retired, and then we had Ikioi, who is currently in Juryo / has one foot in the grave in his wrestling career.
I feel like he's had one foot in the grave for years.
Yes. At Maegashira 2, we had Sokokurai, who is also in Juryo and is going to be retiring early next year to take over as the Oyakata for his stable. And we also had Takanoiwa at Maegashira 2, who is also retired and also can't keep his hands to himself. At Maegashira 3, we had Shohozan, Takara Fuji, so kind of...
Wouldn't be shocked if either of those guys ended up at that rank again someday.
Yeah, but then at
not right now.
Yeah, and then at Maegashira 4, we had Yoshikaze, who is retired, and we had Arawashi, who is currently in Makushita. So... Ouch. Doesn't take a whole lot of time for things to really change at the top of those rankings.
Aoyama, for example, who just bounces between the top and the bottom every single basho.
Yeah, exactly. But at those Komusubi ranks, we do have Abi and Endo standing pat. Abi had a 9-6 record. Endo had an 8-7 record. So we could pretty much just have a flashback to exactly what we said during our Aki Banzuke prediction. I don't believe they will create a third Sekiwake slot for Abi, despite having a winning record as a Komusubi, especially because he had a Fusen win and a win via a hair pull by Tochinoshin.
Right. So, yeah, they won't move him up, but they also can't move him down.
Yeah.
Which means that the Komusubi slots are staying full.
Yeah. And we would expect like probably 10 or 11 wins would force them to open up a third Sekiwake slot. When you have a outstanding performance, they typically reward you with a jump up to Sekiwake. Even though it really does nothing, you're still like in the same exact order, and you're still going to be like the 7th guy from the top. It's just a in-name only sort of thing. But that kind of brings us to my existential crisis for this basho, where...
I was wondering what it would be this time.
It is what to do with Hokuto Fuji.
Oh, my word. You have like 2 pages of notes on this.
I have a 30-minute rant on some probably mostly in my head issues that I'm having with this one. It's probably a very simple solution, but I just haven't been around long enough to know what to do here. So, the Hokuto Fuji problem. Hokuto Fuji ended with 9 wins after a brave and heroic battle back from the depths of a 1-6 record. A Maegashira 1 East, which is what Hokuto Fuji's rank was for Aki, that has earned 9 wins, has never been denied a promotion to the Sanyaku ranks, and there's like 40-some instances of this happening, I believe.
You mean yet?
I hope not. But... this basho, as we just discussed, there are no Sanyaku rankers with a losing record whose place he can take. Obviously, we had Takayasu had a losing record in Tochinoshin, but Hokuto Fuji can't jump up to take their ranks.
Right, nobody who's getting booted out of the Sanyaku.
Exactly. But that is okay because, as we discussed with like the Sekiwake rank creating a third slot, we can create a third rank for Komusubi for Hokuto Fuji. So... there are 3 reasons why I don't think this is just a simple solution, whether these are real reasons or just imaginary in my head things that I'm struggling over for no reason whatsoever. So this hasn't happened in 13 years, since Kyushu of 2006, when Roho and Aminishiki held Komusubi 2 and East Komusubi 2 East and West ranks. So
so they were the third and the fourth Komusubi.
Yeah, so not only did we have 3 Komusubi, we had 4 Komusubi. And what had happened was Roho was 10-5 from Maegashira 1 West, and Amanishiki was 11-4 from Maegashira 3 West. All Sekiwake and Komusubi had winning records, and I don't like predicting things to happen that I haven't personally seen, which is why the time frame of it not happening in 13 years kind of concerns me, just because we've never seen this situation arise, because we've never had this situation where all the Sanyaku guys, Sekiwake, Komusubi, had winning records, so there was nobody to take their spot.
So you're saying that in the give or take 3 or so years that we've been watching sumo, there are some things that we're not world-renowned experts in yet.
Somehow,
not
some
quite.
Things have
I
think this might be the one thing, and then we can check this off, and then we can definitively say we are absolute experts in sumo.
Got it. Okay. So reason number 1 was it's been 13 years.
It's been a while.
Okay.
Reason number 2 is that Asanoyama was 10-5 from Maegashira 2 West, and by all rights deserves to be ranked higher than Hokuto Fuji. He
also got a special prize there.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Endo, the last Basho, where Endo is a Maegashira 2, Hokuto Fuji was a Maegashira 1. Hokuto Fuji had a 9-6 record, only moved up the half rank from the west side to the east side, and Endo jumped over him to take the available Komusubi slot. So really...
with 10 wins for Endo?
Yes.
Gotcha, okay.
So really, Asanoyama, maybe he deserves that extra Komusubi slot.
But you don't want him to.
Don't want him to. But also, there is the whole thing of, like, I'm not sure. Maybe there is precedent of a 9-6 guy outside of the Sanyaku ranks not being promoted any, but I don't know that there is.
Sure. Nothing that you found, at least.
Yeah. And number 3, there are not very many people to fill in the upper ranks if we remove Hokuto Fuji and or Asanoyama from the Maegashira ranks. Because if we have them slotted in at Maegashira 1 East and West, then we don't have to pull people up like a full rank further than maybe they should to fill up those ranks.
So if we leave Hokuto Fuji at Maegashira 1 East, the rest of the Banzuke would make a little bit more sense?
Yeah.
I gotcha.
And so this one goddamn spot on the Banzuke, this Hokuto Fuji, is the reason that this has been one of the toughest Banzukes for me to predict, and I have actually made 3 different versions of the Banzuke, and I'm not happy, nor do I feel good about any one of them. I'm only going to present the one that I decided on, so don't worry. We're not going through 3 full versions of what I think the Banzuke will be. So I had one Banzuke where Hokuto Fuji and Asanoyama stayed in the Maegashira ranks. So that is a bad decision because it would be unprecedented for Hokuto Fuji to not be in the Sanyaku ranks, and we don't like to predict things that are unprecedented.
Gotcha. You also don't like to predict things that are worse for Hokuto Fuji than things that are best for Hokuto Fuji.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. As long as that one's out there in the open.
Yeah. But that is a good Banzuke option because everything that follows is actually fairly neat and tidy. We don't have to promote anybody too far. We're not demoting anybody too far. Everything just kind of seems to work out for the most part.
Sure.
I made another Banzuke for Hokuto Fuji to join the Sanyaku ranks only to fill Komusubi 2, and he would be on the west side because we need to have even number ranks on the east and the west side for the Sanyaku ranks.
Oh, okay.
And so since Tochinoshin is Ozeki 2 East,
we would need Takakeisho.
Yes, Takakeisho, he would be Ozeki 2 East. We would need, if there is a third Komusubi slot open, we would need that to be on the west side.
Gotcha. So there's the same number on the east as there are on the west.
Yes. So the one where I just have Hokuto Fuji joining the Sanyaku ranks is bad because, like I said, Asanoyama deserves to be ranked ahead of Hokuto Fuji, and he still gets shortchanged as the top-ranked Maegashira. By all rights, Asanoyama deserves to be in the Komusubi ranks, which is a shortfall of my none of them get to the Komusubi rank Banzuke as well.
Gotcha.
Also, things start to get kind of messy, and we're pulling people up further than they deserve if we're bringing Hokuto Fuji up. That one is good because we avoid the unprecedented with Hokuto Fuji being left out of the Sanyaku ranks.
Okay.
And then I had a third Banzuke for if Hokuto Fuji and Asanoyama both join the Komusubi ranks, with Asanoyama as Komusubi 2 East and Hokuto Fuji as Komusubi 2 West. And that one is bad because things get really ugly, we have to pull Rikshi way too far up that had less than 10 wins, we'd be promoting guys with like 9 wins up like 5 or 6 ranks.
Oh.
Yeah, not good. That one is good because we have Hokuto Fuji and Asanoyama both joining Sanyaku ranks like they deserve, and Asanoyama being ahead of Hokuto Fuji like he deserves. So ultimately, ended up going with the Banzuke where just Hokuto Fuji is joining the Sanyaku ranks at Komosubi 2 West. So that will round out my Sanyaku rank prediction. It's mostly because things just get far too messy behind him if both he and Asanoyama are promoted to Komosubi. Plus, we get the added benefit of getting rid of that pesky Maegashira 17 spot at the bottom of the Banzuke. Okay. It'll just round out at Maegashira 16 West. Nice and even.
If you did 2 Komosubi, then you would have to have that Maegashira West at the bottom be on, or Maegashira 17 on the west side instead of the east side or something.
I don't
right?
think it applies when you go down to the Maegashira ranks. I think they just want the Sanyaku ranks to be even.
Interesting. Okay.
Because, like, if we didn't have Hokuto Fuji jumping up to even out the Sanyaku ranks, we'd still have 9 guys in the Sanyaku ranks and 1 more on the east side. It's not like we're doing any. And, like, the Maegashira, that's exactly what we had this past Basho, and we still had
right.
Maegashira 17 on the east side. So that wouldn't apply.
In this most recent Basho, yeah, we had 2 guys on the east more than on the west.
Correct.
Okay, so I guess that isn't a big deal. Never mind.
Yeah, they just like to even out the Sanyaku ranks.
Fair enough.
So, with that being said, let's get into the Zone of Death, the upper Maegashira ranks.
The rest of this episode will take like 30 seconds, right?
Probably. So, at Maegashira 1 East, I have Asanoyama, who, like I said, had that 10-5 record, only jumping up to Maegashira 1 from Maegashira 2. Not nearly enough for what a 10-5 record deserves, but them's the breaks. And on the west side, we have Daisho jumping up from Maegashira 3 to Maegashira 1 West. And I kind of was considering giving that spot to Okinoumi, who had that 11-4 record from Maegashira 8. But I ended up going with Daisho because Daisho faced that Sanyaku schedule and got a Kinboshi. So that's the kind of preference that we've been seeing from the Banzuke committee, and that really worked out for us when we aired on that side in the last time we did a predicted Banzuke.
Right, because Okinoumi, he did only have 4 losses, but they all came towards the end when he was facing those harder guys.
Yeah, and it's actually very similar to Tomokaze in the last Basho, where he ended up being slotted. He was 11-4 at Maegashira 7 and only made it up to Maegashira 3 just because there were some guys up in the Sanyaku, not Sanyaku, but the upper Maegashira ranks that he did better than, like Asanoyama had a 7-8 record from Maegashira 1, but we still rank Tomokaze behind him because we're giving Asanoyama the preference of having faced the tougher schedule.
Gotcha. Okay.
So at Maegashira 2, on the east side, we do have Okinoumi going there, so jumping up 6 ranks from Maegashira 8 to Maegashira 2. And on the west side, we're going to have Myogiryu, who is getting a very lucky 4-rank jump after just an 8-7 record. I give him preference over guys like Takara Fuji and Meisei that had better records, but they were 2 or 3 ranks behind him. And since Myogiryu did end up facing most of the Sanyaku Rikshi that like weren't Kyujo halfway through,
survived. Yeah.
I'm going to give him that preference of the tougher schedule.
Sure. And didn't he also sit out a couple days?
Yeah, he was out for 2 or 3 days. So
2 official absences, which
and
means
then
he sat out for 3 days.
Yeah, one of those losses would have been Fusen. So he was out for 3 days and still managed to get a 8-5-2 record is officially what he had.
Gotcha. So technically 8-4 in the ring, but I don't know if that really makes a difference.
Probably not.
Yeah. Oh well.
But yeah, he's going to be jumping up from Maegashira 6. I got him to Maegashira 2.
Good for him. He owes us.
For what?
For ranking him that high.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. It's always good to have people in sumo that owe you.
Yeah, precisely.
Maegashira, what should we try to get from him? Like, what? Now that we have this leverage over him for...
I don't know.
Think on that. We'll come back to that. Maegashira 3 on the east side, we're going to have Meisei, who had that 10-5 record from Maegashira 10, jumping 7 ranks all the way up to Maegashira 3. So kind of pretty much taking the spot of where he was before he had that terrible Nagoya Basho. And on the west side, we're going to keep Tomokaze right there at Maegashira 3 West. He just had a 7-8 record, and really there isn't anyone deserving of taking his spot because the next people that we could promote after Meisei, we would have somebody like Takada Fuji, who was 9-6 for Maegashira 8, and that would be a 5-rank jump. Or like the next guy with a great record would be like Tsurugisho, who had 10 wins for Maegashira 14, and he's not going to jump up 9 ranks.
I don't think so on that one.
So yeah, we're going to leave Tomokaze there at Maegashira 3 West. Plus, he has that whole face the tougher schedule thing. So we're going to give him the preferential treatment there and leave him there. And that is going to round out the Joy, or the top 16 wrestlers. So starting at Maegashira 4, we're at the mid-Banzuke section. And once again, Tamawashi was Maegashira 4 East before, and I think he's going to be Maegashira 4 East again, getting the same exact treatment that Tomokaze is. And on the west side, we are going to be jumping up Takada Fuji from Maegashira 8 to Maegashira 4 with a 9-6 record.
That feels a little bit better than 5, but...
It feels a little bit better, but yeah, I'm not super happy with that, but there's really not a whole lot else we can do, because the people who had losing records in front of him that need to drop, like Aoyama, only had 5 wins. He's not going to just end up at Maegashira 4. Actually, he could.
But he's more likely going to go a little bit.
More likely going to go a little bit further down. Ichinojo, 1 win. Big drop. Shodai, 3 wins, big drop. So there's nobody that's dropping to take his place, so we have to pull deep from the guys who had winning records to look to see who can fill up those ranks. At Maegashira 5, on the east side, we're going to have Kotoyuki, very similar to Takada Fuji, 9-6 record for Maegashira 9, jumping up 4 ranks. Jake, I'm sorry.
I will never forgive you.
Yeah. On the west side, this is where we're going to drop.
You know he's my nemesis. Why don't you plan your entire Banzuke around him?
Because last time I did that, I messed up a couple of spots, and I'll be damned if I let that happen again.
Whatever.
Our friendship is not more important than fake internet points.
This is the one then. This'll be my pick that I every episode I make a pick of which one I think you got
what
the
my
most
worst
wrong,
guess is.
And purely picking with my brain and no bias whatsoever, I'm going to say that Kotoyuki getting that big of a prediction, or that big of a promotion, is just a terrible decision. Emotionally, mainly, it's an emotionally terrible, devastating, just bad for humanity in general.
I kind of agree. On the west side of the Maegashira 5 rank, we're going to have Aoyama dropping off from the Maegashira 1 West slot, where he did only have 5 wins. I was playing around with leaving Ryuden there, who had a 7-8 record, kind of treating him the same as Tomokaze and Tamawashi. Just kind of, once again, giving the preferential treatment to Aoyama there, giving him the benefit of the doubt as he had the tougher schedule. So we will drop off Ryuden, only a half rank down at Maegashira 6 East, because he had that 7-8 record. And then we're going to jump up Onosho from Maegashira 11 East, 5 ranks up to Maegashira 6 West.
Yeah, that's a rough one too.
Yeah, I don't like that very much. And the only other guy that I really could have put there to jump over him would be like Tsurugisho. But like I said, that would be an 8-rank jump for Tsurugisho for only having 1 more win than Onosho and being 3 ranks lower. And so that's just kind of what it needs to be, I think, just because everybody that we could pull down that lost just needs to be kicked down the Banzuke even further, especially since we already dropped off Aoyama.
Gotcha.
So at Maegashira 7, we are going to have Enho, who is also getting a very generous jump up. This is only 4 ranks for him, but it's pretty much the same jump as Onosho. And he's going to be the Maegashira 7 East, so rest in peace, Enho. I do not predict good things for him getting this high up into the Banzuke.
Yeah.
And on the west side, this is where we're going to put Tsurugisho, the 7-rank jump after that 10-5 record he had at Maegashira 14. This is going to be the biggest predicted jump that I have on the Banzuke. And the next highest was actually Okinoumi from Maegashira 8 up to Maegashira 2. And also probably rest in peace to Tsurugisho.
Yeah, this'll be it was already his highest rank in his career to be at 14.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to be rough.
At Maegashira 8, we are going to have Koto Ueko on the east side, not dropping too far with that 7-8 record he had at Maegashira 7. And on the west side, we're going to have Sho Hozan, who had a 9-6 record from Maegashira 12. And so another 4-rank jump for a guy with a 9-6 record. On Maegashira 9, we are going to have, on the east side, Sadano Umi, who had a, where is his name? There it is, 8-7 record from Maegashira 10, so just a 1-rank bump up for him. And on the west side, we're going to drop off Kodo Shogiku, who ended up with a 6-9 record at Maegashira 7. So only a 2-rank drop for him, which is more in line with a 9-6 or 6-9 record. So now we're going to talk about the bottom of the Banzuke, the last 7 ranks with Maegashira 10. On the east side, we're going to have Yutakayama, and he is jumping up from Maegashira 16 with a 10-5 record, so a 6-rank jump for him. And on the west side, we're going to drop off Shimano Umi, who had a 5-10 record from Maegashira 6, so only a 4-rank drop for him. So the only Makuuchi Rikishi left that has a winning record is Ishiura at 8-7 from Maegashira 15. Everybody else, the rest of the bottom 12 Rikishi, either had a losing record or they're going to be coming up from Juryo.
Yikes.
Yeah. And Shimano Umi is going to kind of start a train of us dropping off our crappy high-ranked Maegashira Rikishi. So at Maegashira 11 on the east side, we have Shodai, who had that 3-12 record from Maegashira 4, so that's a 7-rank drop for Shodai. And on the west side, we have Ichinojo, who is Maegashira 2, dropping 9 spots to Maegashira 11. At Maegashira 12, on the east side, we're going to have Chiyo Tairyu, dropping him off after he had a 2-13 record from Maegashira 5, so a 7-rank drop for him.
That one hurt me in the heart.
Why is that?
I kind of like him.
Oh, okay.
I just love he's very straightforward.
Gotcha.
We just never end up talking about him that much.
That's true. He should do better.
Oh, well.
So on the west side, we have Ishiura, who is going to be jumping up 3 ranks here with just an 8-7 record. I almost went with Takanosho from Juryo, but I'm going to, once again, give the benefit of the doubt to the guy who had the more difficult schedule.
He also owes us, I think, now.
Ishiura?
Yeah, we're just piling up these IOUs.
Exactly. Maegashira 13 on the east side. That is where we're going to place Takanosho. He had a 10-5 record from Juryo 2, and then we're also going to be putting Chiyomaru here, who had an 8-7 record from Juryo 1. So this is a 4-rank jump for Chiyomaru, but there's really nothing I can do as we've already dropped off all of our high rankers, and so we're needing to get past some other people that had losing records to be able to drop them off.
Yikes.
At Maegashira 15 on the east side, we have Terutsuyoshi, who had a 4-11 record from Maegashira 9, so a 6-rank jump for him, or 6-rank drop for him, I apologize. And on the west side, we're going to have Daisho Maru, who is jumping up from Juryo after a 10-5 record from Juryo 5. Let's also remember that Maegashira 14 exists and not skip over that, as it's very fitting, 2 very forgettable Rikishi, Kagayaki and Nishikigi, both are going to be dropping just 1 rank after a 6-9 record, so getting a little bit of a luck from the Banzuke for those guys, because by all rights, they should be around Maegashira 15 or 16.
I wasn't going to correct you because I also forgot those 2 guys exist.
And then to round out the Makuuchi Banzuke at Maegashira 16, on the east side, we have Wakataka Kage, who had a 9-6 record from Juryo 3 and will be making his Makuuchi debut. And we also have Daishoho on the west side, who is going to desperately cling to his Makuuchi life after a 5-10 record from Maegashira 12.
I think I can speak for the whole podcast when I say that I'm really looking forward to saying Wakataka Kage more often on the show.
I don't think you are speaking for everybody on the podcast.
You're right. Yumi and Mac are going to do great with that.
Wakataka Kage is the easiest thing in the world to say.
It's awesome. Wakataka Kage, but Fleric is probably going to struggle
if Fleric loses, we should have a special punishment where he just has to say Wakataka Kage.
We should get him all tied up in tongue twisters.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Ooh, that would actually be fun, a tongue twister punishment.
Yeah, you just did it to yourself right there.
Look out for that in the coming prediction series.
I like it.
So we had 4 guys jump up from Juryo. We had the aforementioned Wakataka Kage, Daisho Maru, Takanosho, and Chiyomaru back for, it feels like, the 3rd time this year from Juryo. So that means we're going to have 4 guys dropping down to Juryo. We have Toyo Noshima, who was Maegashira 14 and had a 1-14 record, albeit 6 of those losses were after he was Fusen. We had Azumaryu, who had a 6-9 record from Maegashira 15. We had Tochiozan, who had a 6-9 record from Maegashira 16, and we had Takagenji with a 4-11 record from Maegashira 17.
That one hurts. That's going to be rough for him. That's a big drop.
Yes, it will be. like I said before, I don't feel great about this Banzuke, mostly because of the Hokuto Fuji problem we discussed before. And if I was wrong on how they handle that Hokuto Fuji and Asanoyama situation, my picks could be in the exact correct order, but just
them off by one.
By like 1 or a half rank for the entirety of the Maegashira ranks.
And the way that we compile a score for you, that's gonna
hurt.
Mess it up.
Yes. So I might need to try to cajole you into allowing me a different scoring system for this basho.
We'll see if I feel merciful.
Probably
I don't know why
not.
I have any say in the matter, but
That's a good point.
I've figured out what Miyagiryu and Ishiura should owe us.
Yeah.
You know how they have Japan's got all sorts of vending machines, right? They have like the underpants ones.
Yeah.
We need Mawashi vending machines.
Ooh, there we go. So
and I feel like these would be two guys because you placed them generously on the Banzuke. I feel like they are beholden to us
to create these and
to be our contacts in Japan to get this business going.
That makes sense. I'm all for that. So we'll get feet on the ground for that project, and we'll update our listeners to see how that's going in the future. So, Jake, it is time for you to guess what my worst prediction is going to be.
I really want to stick with Koto Yuki, but it actually kind of made sense in context. I also really want to pick Hokuto Fuji, just because even though it would only be one off, it would totally screw up everything.
I would allow it if that's what, because it's going to dismantle everything.
Yeah, man. No, I don't know. I think I obviously I'm seeing the same struggles that you saw when you were putting this together, but I think overall one of them that struck me that I didn't like at all was Onosho going up so far on just a 9 and 6. I think if we're going official picks and all that for me to see which one I think is probably the furthest off, I think I'll take Onosho.
Okay. Out of curiosity, what would you do at that spot?
I would have somebody else do the Banzuke predicting so that all I have to do is look good in retrospect.
Wise move.
It's one of my specialties.
So that is going to wrap up our Banzuke prediction for the Kyushu Basho. The Banzuke is going to be released at the last Monday of October, 2 weeks before the Kyushu Basho starts.
We'll try and put our Banzuke review up the next weekend,
after.
give or take. Yeah.
And so if you enjoy this podcast, feel free to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all the good stuff. And check out our blog, GrandSumoBreakdown.com, for fantasy and sumo power rankings every basho.
Feel free to send us an email with any comments, corrections, or questions at GrandSumoBreakdown@gmail.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO. And we actually did get a voicemail from a listener who let us know that we were having some audio issues on a previous episode. So if you do hear some popping in the episodes,
it's
not
something we know about, but and we're trying to fix it. But we definitely do appreciate any feedback if there's anything that's going on that you notice.
Yeah. But with that, we will see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time,
Throw your salt high.
and keep moving forward.
We are good to go whenever.
Okay. One other thing I wanted to address. I legit hate the Super Special High Five name. And so I put Poyer's Pitiful Prediction.
Terrible. Even worse.
Yeah. I was also thinking Ryan's Least Best Guess.
Oh,
We could
that joke doesn't have to live, does it?
We could also do Ryan's Least Best Guess, but that has some sort of end of the word alliteration.
How about just I don't know, something about co-host. I don't know. I don't know if we even need a name for it. We can just...
Yeah. Jake predicts what my worst guess will be.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so much easier. I don't know why we never thought of this.
Yeah. But yeah, we are recording and you're good to go.
Oh, okay.